What's up guys, in today's Odoo tutorial I will show you everything needed to know to successfully implement Odoo as a CRM onto your business. Now Odoo is a great open source CRM platform which actually does offer all sorts of different features. You can see them right here on screen. So they do have basically things for leads, opportunities, customers, communication, reporting and so on. Now, basically, to get started, simply just head over to Odoo and then click on Start, it's free. You can also see the overview of all of the apps inside Odoo right here. So as for this video, we are actually going to focus on the CRM and pipeline features. However, Odoo does actually also offer all sorts of other features like e-commerce, e-learning, accounting and so on. However, generally speaking, their sales features are the most advanced and are the best out there. So to get started, head over to Odoo, click on try it free, and then you will have to actually choose the apps that you want to sign up for. In my case, I'm going to select CRM, and I'm then also going to add sales and invoicing just as an example. So now under operations, we could then, for example, also add some other apps. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to click on continue right here, and then we will have to move forward by putting in our general details. And once you've registered yourself an account, this is how everything is going to look like. Now, as I've actually opened up a demo account, I'm going to have all of the features and all of the apps available. Either way, you will just have to head over to CRM and you can then see your pipeline that you can actually use for your CRM. Now, this is going to be pretty simple and pretty straightforward. First of all, you can just use the settings icon right here to import records onto this pipeline. So if you're, for example, migrating from other services, you can actually take advantage of that. You can actually also insert knowledge things. So you can actually also, for example, use the knowledge app, use spreadsheets for this. But either way, to actually create a new deal on this pipeline, you will just have to click on new. And now we can actually put in all of the details. So for example, right here, we can then basically add any of the available contacts. So these would be just example contacts. However, we can just also put in our own contact and we can then put in @gmail.com and we can then actually create this. So now we are going to have the opportunity and we can actually also change the email, phone number and so on. As for the expected revenue, we can actually change this. So let's just say that this is going to give us $100 and right here we can actually also select the priority. So I'm going to say that this has the priority high. And now once we've added this, this is going to show up and now we are going to see this on the slider right here. Additionally, you can also change this exact pipeline sequence by editing it. And now you can actually select if this is the one stage, if this should be folded, or you can actually also put in certain kind of requirements. Now, you can actually also put in automations, but more on that in just a second. Now, actually, if we're now going to, for example, move this onto the proposition phase right here, this is then automatically going to be updated. And if we are going to click on reporting and pipeline, we can then actually also see an overview of all of the different tasks, all of the different deals inside our pipeline. And we can then see basically the estimated amount of money, estimated amount of basically deals done, qualifications and so on. As for basically, let's head back to sales, my pipeline, and then we can actually also drag our example deal onto the one stage. And now this basically has been done. And now we can actually get started by basically now this has been done. Now, if you do want to schedule an activity to this, you can also do this by simply just clicking on this clock icon and by then selecting that right here. So we can, for example, say that, okay, this should be an email or a call, a meeting and so on. And you can then, for example, say, okay, this is going to be the summary, the due date is going to be this. And you can actually also put in an SNE for this exact task and for this exact call in this case. So one thing which I also really like about Odoo is that you are going to have a calendar available. So as you can see, this is how it is going to look like. By the way, you can change the view always right here on the top right. So this is how the calendar view is going to look like. However, if we are going to head back to the pipeline, we can see that we also do have other views available. So this would be, for example, the list view, the calendar view, as well as your general pipeline view. This is just going to be basically a spreadsheet view essentially. And then we can also see a graph. This is in some cases useful. I personally don't really use this. Either way, you are going to have the option if you do want to, and you are actually also going to have a map, which also is pretty useful if you are, for example, going to have multiple businesses in a country, in a city, and if you do want to manage them. Additionally, you can also see the actual, I don't know how they call this view, the activity view. Okay, I guess this is also pretty useful if you do want to see an overview of all of the different steps that has been done. Now, one thing which I actually found kind of misleading, this is just a quick little tip, when you're going to add a new deal on this basically pipeline view, you aren't really going to get a whole lot of options. Rather, make sure to actually change the view to list, for example, and when you're now going to click on new, you can then actually also put in internal notes. You can actually easily add a salesperson onto this. You can add tags onto these. These are also super important and super useful. So for example, you can either use any of the pre-made tags, or you can, for example, also use basically add any kind of example tag, and you can then add this, and this is also super good for organization purposes. Additionally, you can then right here on the extra information actually also add things like marketing stuff, contact name, sales team, and so on. And you can actually also add files onto this exact deal by using this right here. You would obviously have to first of all add a title, and you can see the activities, the log node, and much more. So really, I would recommend you to just add a new deal with the list view. Like this, you're going to get way more options. Now, to add automations on Odoo, you will have to first of all head over to the pipeline view. And when you're then going to click on the settings tree right here, you are going to have the automations option available. Once you're going to click on this, basically this is just going to be a way of automating everything. So actually, to get started with this, you will just have to add all of the different filters, groups, and so on right here on the top. You can, for example, delete this, and then we are going to see that we are going to have 2 automations by default. For example, we can then actually add a new automation. So for example, if a trigger is going to be added, then we can say that, okay, so we can actually do this by adding triggers onto this, by doing log calls, last updates, and so on. Okay, so that's basically it. Now, to be completely honest, I think Odoo is okay-ish CRM. However, there are definitely better and cheaper options out there. So make sure to actually take my quiz for completely free to get a better idea which CRM is perfect for your business. I will leave you a link for that down below. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next one.